it's a friend of mine. Uncle had 6 fingers. I don't know if you ever seen a guy with like a finger on the outside of the finger. And he went to tell his little nephew, give me 5. And the nephew said, no, uncle, give me 6. And so when he did that, all the kids thought it was funny, but he got his ass whooped. So that's what I'm saying is when you're a child and you might say things that you actually see, when a woman have freedom of understanding and real protection, I think this is where this conversation gets off at.
Has a relationship with a man that is secure and she is secure, she acts like she did when she was very young. In terms of lack of the burden, her voice reflects youth. Her mannerisms are very girl-like. That doesn't mean to put you down. I'm saying, and if you haven't had that experience, you ain't been in love with a real man in a long time. In fact, maybe you've never had that experience. And I think it's a wonderful one for you to have, especially if you're 80. And let me tell you something. Now, wait a minute. When you are up in age, the right kind of relationship can make you youthful again. That's what I'm saying. And it is bad relationships that age you, mess you up, sister. You grow old before your time, and you actually think nobody cares about you, and then you just eat, get fat, and sit around getting nosy, looking into everybody's business. That's a miserable woman. And you don't have to be that way.
Oh, I think he's fallen out of his tree. But I can go to the back of the line so as not to perforate the continuity of the conversation, because what I'm going to say is going to be divergent from that.
I want to respond.
I know you are. Okay, go ahead.
And as being a member of the Nation of Islam for almost 40-something years, I appreciate what Bo said at the beginning, because she was actually there for the speech or heard it in its entirety. And Aaron, I respect you a lot, but I didn't like what you just said, brother. And that's my opinion. And you didn't even go into what you gonna go into. But I think what the greater understanding of this is, anything could be BS if you have the lack of understanding. And if you that group that he's speaking to, then it makes sense to you. Because a lot of women who came into the nation, as a lot of men who came into the nation, the first thing they had to leave at the door was they been a Negro. That's the first thing they had to leave at the door. And when they come into the door, it's like, I don't know how many of you men at your age, but I still at my age, I play flag football. And when I'm playing flag football, I'm not out there with my chest all up and getting ready to battle with somebody. We acting like little kids out there sometimes. And some would say we acting like little boys. But to say that, and that's when you do have the freedom. And everybody knows when a child is a child, it has the freedom of sometimes not knowing it doing something wrong because it hasn't been inundated with a lot of mess in his head. And if you stink, that child will tell you straight off, you stink. Now, the adults might come along and say, you can't say that. But see, this is what we're talking about. And see, when we're looking for something on the outside and looking in the inside, sometimes we can have a lack of understanding what the message is really about. And so a lot of ladies who come into the nation, as well as men, didn't understand the freedom of knowledge of self until they did come in. I'm not saying they couldn't learn it anywhere else. Hell, they could have learned it in the church. Hell, they could have learned it at a Salvation Army meeting. But they learned it there. So when you want to turn up something and you want to turn down something, I would have to ask you, in your lifetime, what have you produced?
You talking to Aaron?
I'm just talking to anybody who's listening right about now.
No.
I think that I had introduced the because of the way I heard it, the girl aspect, and I think Illa kind of came on the back end of that, because in the experience of just dealing with the female population, sometimes you may encounter women who over commercialize what a girl is to them and not coming into the understanding of what I've been nurtured to understand what a woman is. She gets a man, she doesn't get a boy. I'm not transformative. So I may act in a way of doing childlike things moment to moment, but my constance is manhood. So I don't particularly want to be around a woman who believes that my job is to now snatch her out of her position that I'm adopting her at to perform as a girl. That's weird to me. That's why I said I needed context. And some of what he was saying and what even Miss Pearl said, I get it. You connect, you're in an environment, an exchange where this man can illuminate you emotionally. It may cause jovial responses, but they're still, in my opinion, is a constant, because I'm living life. So I'm looking to build and scale. I want to be alongside a woman and know that in the moments that I may not have clarity, I can, shift that perspective or hand over the mantle for a second in moments. And she's capable. That's why I said, girl, that kind of made me like, I need more context.
Do you not know that every man has a boy inside of him? Do you not know every woman has a girl inside of them?
Yeah, I'm aware. I think that's what I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay,
if I didn't.
so well, that's
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I said in moments, you're going to see that. You said you play flag football. I would not take your manhood away by you performing in a sport. You're still man. But what I hear when a woman or a female is saying, "I'll, create an opportunity for me to act as a girl," that to me is an immediate distrust of like, wait a minute, you're grown. Like, why would I want to put you in a position to act as a girl? You're not a girl. You're a grown person.
Do you not know? Do you not know? I try to explain this from the beginning, that when you were a child, you had freedom, that as far as the way you thought before you was inundated with how you supposed to act. You had freedom of expression. When something would happen, if somebody was fat, you would say to the person, hey, that person is fat. If that person smell, that person smell. That person got on regular shoes. These are the things you're taught not to say. But as a child, boy or girl, that you wouldn't look at anything different. Let me just give you an instant, and maybe some of you might quite understand what I'm saying. It's a friend of mine. Uncle had 6 fingers. I don't know if you ever seen a guy with like a finger on the outside of the finger, and he went to tell his little nephew, give me 5, and the nephew said, no, uncle, give me 6. And so when he did that, all the kids thought it was funny, but he got his ass whooped. So that's what I'm saying is, when you're a child and you might say things that you actually see, when a woman have freedom of understanding and real protection, I think this is where this conversation gets off at. Because I think sometimes we as men have not seen our women in real freedom, because we haven't, we say we can protect her, but hell, when the police pull over, we're some of the first one to run away. So I don't think you ever seen, a lot of women have not seen true protection, whether you would probably even see that. Now, you might see that after about 2 or 3 drinks. Hell, but anybody can act silly after 2 or 3 drinks. But I'm talking about when a woman believes she got full protection and her man, it don't fear anything but his creator, regardless of what you call him. that's something that will bring sometime that little girl or boy out of a person.
I'll tell you why that's dangerous and why I believe it's dangerous. And I'm gonna pass it to Illa because I know he was waiting. I think this is coming from my experience. I believe my mother is a very solid woman, but my mother also operated from a place of spirituality and awareness. She taught me this, that it was not my dad's job to be the God for her. It was his job to be the man. A lot of women are disassociated with any level of belief system. I'm not necessarily promoting, a particular religion, but she needs to know who she is at the maturation level of claiming womanhood. Now, in a connection in our union, if there's times that, like you said, the protection is provided and it creates in her a safety, a peace of sorts, absolutely. But we're talking about building life. I personally, myself, and maybe men on this panel, would not want to align with a woman who wants to spend her time to try to project herself in an emotional state that is representative of a girl. That would be problematic to me. That's
but you see, you're getting. I think where it's losing at you at my brother. The first thing you said when you said what you said, but your mother came with a certain awareness. Let me just give you the certain awareness our women do. We are aware. Our women are aware. Anytime they go outside and they get ready to get in the car, there gonna be 2 or 3 brothers trying to let them in the car, or that man is gonna give them security to that car. Our women have awareness as soon as it get dark that they are aware there's certain things could happen. Not just because they just might be in a bad neighborhood. They start making telephone calls to brothers and let them know when they go get there and when they go arrive. See, this is what I'm saying. A lot of this, just from listening to the minister speak on these tapes and stuff, you don't understand it because there is certain training comes with that, men and women. And so when that training comes in, there's a certain mindset comes in with that. Nobody is asking no woman, no grown woman, come and act like a little girl. But I'm saying when you see freedom, when you see people who are relaxed, it's not like you going for a job interview, brother, where you have to act a certain kind of way. We all have to wear the mask, but some of us so happy to wear it. What he's saying, that woman can take that mask off and she could just be herself, her totally self. So regardless of what she might be acting as at that time, it's going to be positivity. That was the fruit of the message.